All right, we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chris, and this is my channel. We love truth, and it's Barnum 11970. And I want to really talk about this because I think this is something that both sides of any political party, especially in this corporation known as the United States, we really need to talk and stop this emotional roller coaster they're putting us on. I knew nothing about this until I saw somebody, or a couple of people, post this on my Facebook account. And it's a rap video where basically Eminem is saying that if you're a Trump fan, he wants nothing to do with you, and curses him out and does all this stuff that will get people emotionally charged. And it's going to work because you could see people are already fighting, and you can't speak logic to people that base things solely on emotion, which is very scary. This is what I want all people to start to understand, or what I like to call innerstand, because this is all about coming from within. People like Eminem are multi-billionaires who sign contracts, and that means they're basically property of very wealthy people. If you know anything about wealthy people, they tend to dictate what rules can and cannot be made in any government throughout the world. I mean, there's an old saying that says, he who has the gold makes the rules. I mean, this is not something that people should not be aware of. If you want to build past or not past, it all depends on how much money you have. That's why the oil industry still has vehicles that run mainly on gas and oil, because they have enough money to keep inventions that will make the world a better place never seeing the light of day. So with that being said, somebody like Eminem is part of the corporate sponsorship. They are going to use these people as tools because they know people get emotionally attached to people that they seem to love or enjoy. And that's artists, and that's sports athletes, actors, what have you. So they are going to get the people to fight amongst themselves. Now, one of the things I thought was absolutely ridiculous that I saw that the post in this video rap on my Facebook account is basically they're saying, if you support Trump, you are automatically a racist or you're with the KKK. Now, what is that going to do? That's going to get people emotionally charged. That's going to get people to fight amongst each other and send hatred and cause more division. Now, I want people to put their politics aside and put their emotions aside just for a moment and think logically. How will that benefit this country or this planet if all we are doing is wanting to kill each other and fighting amongst ourselves? One of the oldest tricks in the book that governments have used for centuries, if not longer, is a thing called divide and conquer. And what that means is you, as a smaller army, can defeat a much larger army if you can get that larger army divided and fighting amongst themselves. So, in other words, instead of them focusing all of their energy on what's important or keeping their eye on the ball, they're fighting amongst each other for power struggles or for ego or financial situations or what have you. It does not matter if you have a president that's Republican or a president that is Democrat. And I'm going to just, again, use logic. If you are so emotionally charged you cannot just listen, then you are somebody that is part of the problem, and I can't help you. But if you can put your emotions aside for a second and see this logically, it will start to make sense. I know people don't like Trump, and that's fine. But if you are one of the people who like him, that doesn't make you all of a sudden a white supremacist, a racist, or a KKK member. Now, I want to use a little logic because a lot of people, especially liberals, are saying that Trump is the Antichrist. Well, they've said that about Obama. They said that about Bush. They say it about every president. But when Obama, for example, was president, was everybody in America wealthy? Was there no crime? Was there peace on earth? Were we in a utopia? No, it does not matter if there is a Republican or a Democrat as leader, quote unquote, because they're not really leading anything. A president of a country is the same as a person that's a president of a corporation. A president cannot make changes without authority of the owner. So they are there as puppets. And they use tools like Eminem to get people emotionally involved. So instead of us seeing each other as human beings, or even narrow it down, just seeing us all as Americans, they can get us to fight amongst each other instead of realizing, because you need real eyes to realize, that it's governments that have always been in control of our lives. And I made a video last night, and I know as soon as I made that video, as soon as it was, before it even processed, they already labeled it as unadvertiser friendly, which I expect that at this point, because YouTube and Google are part of that corporation, which is owned by multi-billionaires who benefit from you being dependent on them, keeping you down, keeping you sick. That's why governments are in control and regulate what's in your food and water, what can be placed in medicines, what can and cannot be taught in schools, what can and cannot be spoken on the television. And they use people like Eminem and other athletes and stars and people you quote-unquote look up to because they know you'll get emotionally charged. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to have the people who agree with Eminem all fired up saying, yeah, man, you attack those racists and those KKK people. And then you'll have people on the other end of the spectrum saying these liberals are such naive tools, idiots, and, you know, wanting to fight and attack each other. How does that help us become closer to peace? How does that help us become better people? How does that help us from being suppressed? There is a reason in this country why more than 35% of Americans are on some kind of social program. There's a reason why poor people tend to go in jail, while wealthy people, especially government officials, get away with things scot-free. It's because instead of us actually contesting the things that they do, we'd rather listen to people like Eminem. We'd rather watch sports programs. We'd rather drink our beer and party all the time and be distracted thinking, well, you know, it's my life. I want to live it the best I can. Well, if you were not under the control you were under, you would be living a much better life. And maybe your friends, your coworkers, people that you don't even know would have the same opportunities. So, if you notice anything about my channel is not about telling you how to live. My channel is giving my opinion and sharing my thoughts, and if it resonates with you, great. You haven't noticed most channels that get much more views are always there trying to tell you how to think and how to live. Don't let people like Eminem or anyone else tell you how to live your own life. And if you got so emotionally charged about that video that you had to go curse up a storm and attack other people and create violence, then you're part of the problem. And people cannot really be as naive. At least I hope not. But sadly, people, I guess, want their own demise, which to me makes no sense. So as you can see, I'm not emotionally charged about this. I'm disappointed in how naive some people are. And they will allow some person to get you so emotionally charged. Now, I'm just speaking about this because somebody needs to speak logically. Somebody needs to start informing about how they control you. And I've said this for years, that they base it on emotion. And I can see that we got ourselves some nice little trolls here and some bots. Now, they can insult, they can attack, they can threaten all they want. But that just means I must be on the right track. because they don't try and insult and attack people who are way off base. And you notice I'm not telling you to assassinate anybody. I'm not saying go do anything to Eminem. I'm not saying do anything to the presidents. Guns are not the answer. Violence is not the answer. Because if you do the very thing that they do, then how could you say you're any better? And I've always told people, and this is going to affect people like Eminem, but because he's a multimillionaire, it's basically like saying, you know, I'm gonna take money out of your bank account and you take $1,000. It's not really going to affect him, but it will affect in a way, because he basically just alienated half his audience by saying, if you're with that racist KKK member, then I want no part of you, and he basically flipped them off. Now, not everybody that is a Democrat is a bleeding heart liberal to the point where they're this naive. And there are plenty of people that are on the Republican side that are not complete white supremacist racists. I don't view myself as a Republican or Democrat because I do not support basically a dictatorship, if you think about it. Because it's not a president that's in control. Because name one president from now till George Washington that created a better country, that created a utopia where everybody was wealthy, where there was no crime. You notice that it doesn't matter who's president. There's still more poor people than rich people. The rich still get away with crimes that we get thrown in jail for. They still dictate what we can and cannot do to our own bodies in order to, quote-unquote, protect you from yourself. In other words, when they say things like, oh, we're doing this for your best interest and to protect you, they're saying you're a baby who cannot do things on your own. Now, unfortunately, that is going to be true for some people. Some people, just no matter what you do, they're going to be so emotionally charged up or basically paid so much money that they don't care about their fellow brothers and sisters that they will do the wrong thing. And those people need to be, I guess, strung along or leashed. But I would like to hope that the average person in this world is capable of taking care of themselves. So if this is going to cause an emotional charge, it's going to get people fighting, and the governments are going to be laughing and counting your cash. So if you want to get emotionally charged over something that's going to affect millions of people, because I guarantee you, if you have a Facebook page, you've seen that rap video. The government is going to succeed in controlling you and getting you to fight amongst yourselves over something that's utterly ridiculous. If you think that if you are in one specific way for a government, that means every single person on that side is a racist or a bleeding heart, totally extreme leftist, then there's no communicating with you. That is why I'm neither Republican or Democrat. If you research the Act of 1871, you'll know that the government, the 41st Congress on February 21st, 1871, sold out our country to the British and sold Washington, D.C. People need to study their history. They need to focus on what's important and stop getting so emotionally charged. Now, here's the best part. Well, and I say that sarcastically. Even with this video, I only have 30 people watching. I have almost 40,000 subscribers. There are going to be people like Alex Jones and other bigger channels that are going to get millions of people emotionally charged up and angry. Because I guarantee you, I don't watch Alex Jones, and I'm not going to, but I can guarantee you he's going to make a video when he finally responds to this. He's going to get everybody on all his followers all charged up and saying how ridiculous it is and how, you know, we need to fight against them and fight back. He's, whether willingly or unwillingly, helping to serve a government agenda. And it's to get everybody fighting amongst themselves. That's why I don't listen to people like that anymore. And here, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm giving you my own points of view. And I'm hoping people can think for themselves and draw their own conclusions instead of being so emotionally charged. And if you're one of those people that gets paid to cause problems, well, eventually they're going to come after you as well. Because if you think you're getting paid a couple of hundred, maybe a couple of $1,000 to troll channels and try and attack people or start fights or start whatever at like actual meetings of people and protests that are peaceful and not blocking traffic. If you get paid to do this stuff, if you think those multimillionaires give a darn about you, you'll find out eventually. Don't do the work for them. Realize that we are all human beings. And people like Eminem are a tool. He gets paid lots of money to get you emotionally charged. And look how successful it is. So, you do what you want. You think the way you want. But I cannot believe that so many people would be so naive to not understand what divide and conquer is. Please look that up and post that on your social networks. You don't have to share my video. This is not about me. This is about waking people up from the very thing that they're all afraid of. People are all afraid of things like nuclear war and civil war and all these other things. And yet, what direction are we headed by being emotionally charged by silly things like this? If you don't change things, that's when destiny occurs. And people are so afraid. You cannot live in fear. And you definitely cannot live in anger and hatred. These are why when you watch the news and you watch things like this, well, not my video, but Eminem's rap video, it's about either getting you depressed or angry or scared. That's why I don't watch the television and their TV programming. It's right in the words. Because if you do, you get depressed, you get angry. And that's what they want. They get you in these lower vibrational levels where you cannot think logically, you cannot speak logically, you cannot communicate logically. All you want to do is communicate with your fists or be an internet troll where you go and say nasty things or try and hurt people that are doing nothing more than wanting to help people. And if you're doing that, you're part of the problem. Learn about what's going on. Learn about divide and conquer. Use this brain you have. Instead of all the emotions where you just react. Because emotions get you killed. Emotions get you thrown in prison. How many people in prison got there because they did something without thinking and they just reacted or they were just emotionally caught in the moment? And now they have to spend 5 years, 10 years, maybe the rest of their life regretting that one split decision they decided to make. That is why during protests there will be police that will pepper spray people already handcuffed, kneed down, and their hands behind their back. That is why people will start fights. That is why you will learn that shootings are not always what you were told. It's when people seek the truth is when they realize what's really going on. If governments were all there throughout these millennia to help you, then why are we further away from a utopia and not closer to one? Because I've asked the question several times and I'm still waiting for an answer. Can please somebody mention to me, and we'll use any country at any time in known history, because remember, history is his story. But name me one country and one leader that created a utopia. Where is it? Throughout the millennia, throughout history. Can you name one? So we've had controlling governments where they're always the wealthy, controlling the people who are always the poor, always the rich are always telling the poor what to do. The governments are the ones in charge. And they're always telling you they're there to keep you safe, yet they constantly start wars because you and I don't go over and want to shoot anyone in North Korea, do we? You and I don't have beef with anybody that lives in Russia, do we? Who starts all the wars? Well, the governments do. And who do they send? They send you to kill and be killed. So they could profit, because once you win the war, if you win the war, who comes in and takes all the resources? Do the government say thank you for your for your murdering. Here's some lithium, here's some gold, here's some diamonds, here's some things we're going to be taking from that country. No, they scoop it all up. So they send you to do their dirty work where you kill and be killed, destroy somebody else's country, and they take all the wealth. And we all throughout history wave our flags and say, oh, they're there for our best interest. What government is bringing us closer to peace? What government is bringing the people closer to a utopia? And yet we still want to wave our flags each time there's a Republican or a Democrat, thinking that this time those that said all those wonderful things we wanted to hear are actually going to do something. If people don't wake up, they get what they deserve. So stay silent. Attack people like me who are only trying to wake you up. Ignore the problem and think it'll go away. Well, ignoring this and thinking it'll go away is like ignoring your teeth and never brushing them. They'll go away, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. So if you want to pretend this doesn't exist, if you want to be emotionally charged, if you want to keep falling into the divide and conquer, if you want to think that somebody in any government is there to protect you and save you, when you don't need to be protected or saved, because you'll see people like Hillary Clinton when that shooting happened. And how it happened, I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not going to speculate. It's just disappointing it even had to happen, whether it was planned or whether it was the way they said it was. But you see people like Hillary Clinton, for example, saying, oh, we need gun control. Does that mean that she's going to have all her bodyguards give up their guns? What about people like Eminem? I bet you he has armed bodyguards. He's supposedly this bleeding heart liberal. You can hear it in that rap song. You think he's going to have his bodyguards get rid of their guns? Do you not see the hypocrisy? People have to be smarter than this. And YouTube is going to block this video. YouTube is going to make it so people can't watch it or you can't share it. I'm not going to get any ad revenue, which obviously I don't care about, because if it was all about the ad revenue, the fact that I really don't get it anymore, I would have stopped years ago. So you need to speak up for yourself. And as far as people talking about Satan, I mean, you could believe in whatever you want. The only reason you have ever even known about somebody like that is because somebody else told you. And who told you? Religion, another sector of control. So if you want to manifest something that you really don't want, it seems kind of silly to me. But, I mean, see, this is what I'm talking about. People getting emotionally charged instead of speaking logically. Now, somebody like, for example, and I'll use Alex Jones again because he gets millions of people that watch his videos. He's going to be screaming. He's going to be slamming his fists. He's going to cause this whole drama thing and get people emotionally charged. You notice throughout this whole video, I've basically stayed one tone. It's all about speaking logically, using your brain, thinking about what you're going to speak about, and realizing there's always consequences for your actions, even if you don't notice them right away. So if we continue to fight amongst ourselves, if we continue to be distracted by silly things that don't help, talking about religion, for example, here on a video that has to do with Eminem, just shows that some people just want to come here and stir up controversy. So if you're going to respond to those people nonstop, you're not listening to the message, and again, you're being sucked in. There are people who get paid to try and distract you. And No Mercy for Scammer says, bar none is the only one we should listen to, right? No. You should listen to everybody. Sometimes you can learn things from your worst enemy that you could never learn from your best friend. Sometimes you learn what not to do. I'm not here to say to listen to everything I say, believe everything I say, or follow everything I say. All I'm doing is sharing my opinion, sharing my thoughts, and if it resonates with you, great. You should be able to think for yourself. So, No Mercy for Scammers, if you believe I'm the only person you should listen to, well then go right ahead. But I've never said that, nor will I ever say that. So I think that's kind of a silly thing to say. But that's fine. So again, and that's why I can confront people every now and then I just move on. Because there's nothing wrong with speaking. Because you notice I didn't insult the person and call that person a bunch of names. You're supposed to think for yourself. This is why governments throughout history have been able to control your generations of families and friends and co-workers. And you're right, 3, Unite and Conquer says, bar none, are you willing to unite with other truth channels? I've tried over the years. They don't want to associate with me. I've even tried with like people like SGT Report. I've even contacted people like Jesse Ventura because he actually follows my channel. I've contacted Alex Jones. I've contacted other channels. They don't want to deal with me, and that's fine. So am I willing to unite with other truth channels? Of course I am. But see, a lot of these bigger channels are all about revenue. They don't want to share it. It's all about getting you to only focus on their channel. My channel is about speaking what I feel is my truth. And if it resonates with you, that's wonderful. I'm not here to create a religion or a cult. I'm not here to tell you how to think. You're right. The reason that I'm not willing to try again is because YouTube does everything they can to make sure that your message will never be heard. If you guys want to contact the bigger channels and tell them I am more than welcome to help them and work with them, send them my way. But the thing is, like somebody, for example, like Alex Jones, will probably get a couple of thousand emails per day. You think they read them all? So they make this very difficult. My own subscribers cannot even get notifications on my own channel that a video is happening. Out of almost 40,000 subscribers, I have 34 people watching. And that's a lot for my live videos. And yes, Alex Jones is most likely part of the system. By their deeds you shall know them. Now, you can call me crazy. You could say I get things wrong. But you can't say I'm part of some agenda being paid to speak in a certain way. I don't have people writing cue cards telling me what to say. I don't need a fancy rap video where somebody probably made the lyrics up or get people emotionally charged instead of bringing people together. And that's the hypocrisy of some people where they claim they want diversity, but yet want people to not be involved in that diversity if it's different from what they want. That's not diversity. That's a bunch of people that got picked on that now see a little glimpse of power and are abusing it and becoming the very thing that put them down for so long. And that's why 2 wrongs don't make a right. And believe me, when I was a little kid in high school, I used to always get picked on. I was always made fun of. I wasn't the popular kid. We didn't have a lot of money. But when I grew up and started working out and started dating and doing all these wonderful things that I couldn't do when I was younger, I never turned around and put other people down. I used that negative experience to say, I don't want anybody to ever feel the way some people made me feel. It's called growing up. And there are plenty of people in this world that are adults that need to grow up. Because if you are so emotionally charged that you will hate me just because you don't like me and not listen to my words, then you are somebody who has an issue they need to be concerned with and fix. Because the only person you hurt is yourself. So I want to thank those that listen and are here for the right reasons. You don't have to agree with everything. You don't have to like everything I say, but at least respect the fact that I'm not here trying to tell you how to think and how to live. Speak for yourself, think for yourself. United we stand and divided we fall. Do you think there's any wonder why the news and people like Eminem and other sports places are doing nothing but trying to get you to fight amongst yourselves? I mean, look at the NFL. You want to hurt people like Eminem? You want to hurt people like the NFL? You want to hurt people like governments? You don't use a gun. You don't cause a riot. You no longer give your currency to support them. And then you will send the message and then change will happen. Until then, keep doing your riots, keep doing all these ridiculous things, keep fighting amongst ourselves and wonder why things are not getting better. You want to keep getting emotionally charged. You want to not be able to communicate with people logically by sitting down and actually talking to them. You want to stand in front of cars. You want to throw rocks, you want to start fires, you want to steal things, you want to punch somebody in the face, you want to post somebody's personal information over the internet. You're not making the world a better place, and that makes you selfish. So keep being emotionally charged and wonder why things are not getting better. Because you can have plenty of money and still be alone. There's a reason why there's more suicides with people that have money than people who don't. Because they think that money is the answer to everything. You cannot fill an empty hole. Thanks for listening. I always appreciate it. Share it if you're able to. Check out my other videos if they allow you to. Hit subscribe. Hit the notification button, and just be prepared to not get notified. So check my channel frequently, because I make videos. I try and make videos at least once a week, if not more. Sometimes it varies, but they're not going to let you know about it, because I must be doing something right. So thanks for listening, and have a good day.